Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Today I'm going to go over some news and talk a little bit about what's causing the market to drop, as well as my normal schedule, which is Rayblox, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, Omisego, Lisk, Cardano, and IOTA. All of those in a more detailed technical analysis on TradingView in just a second. Other than that, if you're interested in monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities or 5 high return cryptocurrencies for your 2018 portfolio, you can find both of those things in my premium content, and I'll have a link to that in the description of this video. For the 5 high return cryptocurrencies, you might want to get on that while cryptocurrencies are down. And other than that, if you want to start trading altcoins, make sure to check out Binance and follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Let's get started with the general update here for what's going on. And we can see that a lot of cryptocurrencies are back in the red once again. Things were looking better, right? A couple cryptocurrencies started to even break out of their downtrends, and now what happened is we re-entered the downtrend, at least short-term downtrend for a lot of these cryptocurrencies, which is not a good sign, right? And Bitcoin obviously kind of led the movement here. Ethereum took a hit as well. Really, most cryptocurrencies are down about 10 to 15% today. And there are very few exceptions, maybe 3 or 4, but that's pretty much it. We'll go into more detail on that when I go into the charts, but let's talk a little bit about the news here and what's going on. So a couple things. Let's start off with the more general news, which is that U.S. regulators issued subpoenas to Bitfinex, right, which is a big cryptocurrency exchange, as well as Tether, and the whole thing really revolves around Tether, which has yet to verify that it holds $2.3 billion in reserve. Of course, Bitfinex is involved because that's where you can actually trade, Bitcoin to Tether. And I'm not going to get into too much detail. Maybe you are aware of the whole Tether thing, maybe not. But the general idea is that it's kind of unsustainable, right? And that they don't have actually US dollars backing the whole thing. In theory, what a lot of people seem to be leaning towards is that the whole thing is going to collapse, right? Tether is going to collapse, and it has a $2 billion market cap, which means that it's probably going to take a big hit on the market when that happens, and pull a lot of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin down with it, and really send a lot of cryptos kind of unraveling due to Tether collapsing. So we'll see if that happens, when that happens, but things are leading towards that happening, is my personal opinion from what I'm seeing. And let's talk a little bit about some other news, which is that BitGrail, so the exchange that, of course, deals a lot with Rayblox, right, is going through some more drama. If you're a Rayblox holder, you're already probably aware of all the drama that Rayblox has been through with exchanges, most notably BitGrail here recently. And it is problematic because a lot of people who initially bought Rayblox used BitGrail. So now money is kind of being locked up there, to put things in simple terms. And people are calling for an exit scam on BitGrail. I'm not sure if that's the right wording, to be honest, but what's for sure is that there's exchange drama basically, and it's scaring people off a little bit. What happened with Rayblox here, jumping into the technical analysis side of things, is we saw a very big dip this morning. We actually saw a very nice bounce after that, which is somewhat surprising, right? Because the market was weak, and the BitGrail drama didn't help at all. So definitely saw a very big dip all the way down to, looks like, around 137,000 satoshis. And now I think we actually dipped a little bit lower than that actually on the low of the day, but we came all the way back up to above 158,000 satoshis, and we're basically back in a range now between that and 180,000 satoshis. So that is a good thing, but you do have to realize Rayblox is definitely not out of the woods yet. It's holding up surprisingly well, in my opinion, actually, compared to some cryptocurrencies out there. You would think that it would fall even a bit more with how weak the market is today, but it's actually holding its own pretty well here. And I'd say if we're able to consolidate above 158,000 satoshis, I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully we'll see it climb a little bit higher, right? That's what it's doing right now, is slowly but surely climbing a little bit higher. So we'll see if that continues. There's really no way to know, but I'd say be a bit cautious here with all the exchange drama going on with Rayblox, and if the market is weak, that's not going to help. As you can see, we're still not back above the downtrend. We can actually zoom in once again, and if you look, we tested the downtrend, tried to break back above it twice here recently, didn't manage to do so, and then we got a big drop after the BitGrail drama. So now we're kind of just consolidating once again, probably going to continue until we either get the Binance listing or until more exchange drama happens, and that's what would push us lower, right? The Binance listing obviously would be a nice opportunity to move higher. Let's go over to Bitcoin now, and Bitcoin, which is obviously kind of leading the market as far as the actual price action goes, broke below the $10,000 support level, and that's now, we tested that a couple times, even dipped below it previously, but now we fully broke below it and we're holding below it. And what that tells me is, seeing the technicals here, I feel like we're probably going to go a bit lower here for Bitcoin unless we see some kind of very quick bounce in the short term. I feel like we probably will move lower here, and a couple reasons for that are we're coming all the way back down on the indicators basically, right? RSI not looking strong at all, practically entering back into the downtrend. We rejected the MACD crossover, very bad sign there, and we rejected the histogram crossover into the positive area. So those are definitely not what we wanted to see. I'm actually a little bit surprised that that happened. That kind of has happened last minute as we just faced too much resistance in this area and we got all that bad tether news. So now we're really falling back lower. There will be some support if we're going to indeed trickle down lower at around, let's see, the low of the day of this candlestick, which is $9,000 basically. And we'll see if we get a nice bounce there. But other than that, next big support level is either going to be $9,000 or much lower, all the way down to $7,950. So I think at this point in the short term, probably going to test $9,000, and we'll see what happens from there basically. Let's take a look at Ethereum, which is acting a little bit stronger than Bitcoin. Obviously, it has been over the past few days, and it is continuing. But right now we have kind of a flat doji candlestick, which isn't too bad. We have, however, got somewhat of a failed crossover on the MACD, histogram, and RSI now coming back lower towards that 50 line, kind of consolidating there. So similar situation. We'll see if Ethereum is going to be able to hover around this area, but I would say don't be surprised if we move back below $1,000 and then go back towards $917 support level, as Bitcoin might start falling lower. Let's take a look now at Litecoin and see what Litecoin has been up to. So Litecoin really was not very strong over the past couple days, got a bit of a bounce here when Bitcoin and Ethereum were doing well, broke out of the downtrend. That only lasted a day really, and now we're back below the downtrend, fully holding below that. Didn't get any kind of bullish signals on the indicators, so still bearish there. And now we're probably going to be moving back towards $145. We'll have to see if we get a bounce off that, or if we are going to, after testing 2 times already that area, break below it, and that is definitely a possibility. I feel like we'll see, definitely probably within the next week, but there is a true possibility here for a lot of these cryptos to move much lower, and things like Litecoin to go back down to that $100 mark. Probably going to get a bounce there, but that would be a pretty massive drop, right? So I'd say just be aware of that. Let's take a look at Ripple and see what Ripple has been doing. So let's take a look. Ripple is currently moving back towards that $1 support level, actually falling quite a bit now. Currently trading at $1.10. It looks like the low of the day was actually at $1.02, so right above $1. And indicators kind of flat, not really anything particular happening. So we'll see if we're able to hold above this $1 mark, maybe consolidate in this area, or if we're going to drop below $1. I would be somewhat surprised to see Ripple drop below $1 here, and it's hard to say how low it would go, but if it does drop below $1, it means that the market is definitely very weak right now. We have a bit of support at 85 cents. I'll go ahead and throw in that support level while we're at it, and then a bit more at 65 cents. Could it drop lower? Anything is possible in cryptocurrencies, but I'd be very surprised at that point if we drop lower than 65 cents. Already just to get to 65 cents, I feel like things would have to be pretty bad. Let's go over now to NEO, and we're going to take a look at what NEO has been doing throughout all of this. So let's see. NEO is currently, tested that $167 resistance level, failed that, now putting in a lower high there on those 2 peaks. So I'll go ahead and draw in that little downtrend right there. And now what we see is that we're in a bit of a symmetrical triangle between the uptrend line and the downtrend line, but we're definitely towards the lower range of that, trading kind of on our $137 support level. We are, of course, finding support on the uptrend line, and I'm the first one to say that NEO is one of the stronger cryptocurrencies out there with Ethereum. Seeing how the market is acting, I think that NEO has a good chance of losing the uptrend and now moving lower between $85 and $140. Of course, we might not go crashing back below $100 just yet, but maybe, moving back towards $120, $110. Definitely could see that happening now. As for the indicators, back to downtrending pretty much. Let's take a look now at the next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Vertcoin. And let's see what Vertcoin has been doing. So Vertcoin kind of free falling right now, back towards $3.23. Probably going to come back and test that. And then we're going to see if we're going to bounce or drop lower. If we do end up dropping lower, we don't have that many big support levels. A little bit of support at $2, and then really a pretty major support at $1.54. So I mean, if cryptocurrencies drop, like they look like they could, that's going to wipe out a lot of gains that we previously saw, not just for Vertcoin, but just for a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, unfortunately. Pretty much indicators all looking bearish here, all going back negative for Vertcoin. Let's take a look at Monero and see what Monero is doing throughout all of this. So Monero moving back towards that $257 mark, downtrending on all indicators. We'll have to see if it consolidates between $257 and $299. Once again, very dependent on what's going to happen with the market, right? Are we going to lose these major support levels and move much lower, or are we going to, kind of be saved and just consolidate where we currently are standing? We can't know for sure, but things are definitely looking on the weaker side right now. And if we lose that $257 support level, could pretty quickly move back down towards $200 and then even back down to $167. I'll go ahead and put in the $200 support level because there are quite a few previous candlestick levels there, and that should be able to hold the price up decently. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Omisigo, and let's see what Omisigo is doing right now. So let's go over to Bittrex, and Omisigo is finding support at that $14 mark. Still not looking good on the indicators, right? Dropped back below the 44 level on the RSI, which puts it in now a new short-term downtrend, and actually a bit of a channel compared to the previous downtrend line. So you can see what's happening here, where it'll probably trickle down lower in between these two trend lines as we move forward. But the indicators are not looking great. We are holding that $14 support level, which is already good. We can see the pressure from this downtrend line right here in the short term. That's where we peaked today, and we'll see in the next few days if we're going to break horizontally through that and then consolidate, or are we going to move back to our next support level, which is at around $11.80. Let's take a look at Lisk now to see what's going on with Lisk. Let's take a look and see what's going on with Lisk. So going over to Lisk now, and Lisk is currently consolidating, acting pretty flat right now, and in this pretty tight range between $20 and $25. Pretty nice long upper wick, lower wick here, which means that buyers did buy up those lower levels in that $20 area. But indicators still holding up pretty well actually. Uptrend, short-term uptrend is holding. That is pretty surprising. Same thing on the histogram, and the MACD is having some trouble really flattening out, but it's actually not looking as weak as other cryptocurrencies. So it is what it is. That might mean that Lisk may be able to consolidate in this area for the time being, which is very good actually, considering what a lot of cryptocurrencies are currently experiencing and what they're looking like they could experience moving forward here over the next 2-3 weeks. Let's take a look now at the next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Cardano, and see what Cardano is looking like. So Cardano dropped below that $5,125 support level. I was calling for that as I saw that it just wasn't really managing to move higher, and already tested that support level multiple times. We now broke below that and are holding below that, finding support on the lower Bollinger Band, probably going to find a little bit of support on the previous downtrend line. But either way here, we're downtrending big time on all the indicators, and no real sign of stopping basically. So I would say good chance that we move lower here, basically all the way down to $4,000.98 Satoshis. We'll have to see how it acts around that level. Hopefully it'll stop there, because otherwise it might just start trickling down throughout all the levels. Not necessarily Cardano's fault, just the fact that the market is definitely looking like it's going to take a hit, and Bitcoin is kind of holding on some critical support levels. Let's take a look now at IOTA, which is the final cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update. And IOTA is at $2.26, below the uptrend line. Actually not looking that bad compared to some cryptos. Kind of flat on the MACD, which is pretty good, like I said, compared to other cryptocurrencies. Flat on the histogram and not really doing all that much on the RSI, but it is out of the downtrend line. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we're going to manage maybe to horizontally move higher a little bit towards that $2.63 resistance level, or are they going to consolidate or obviously move lower here back towards $1.91, which is pretty major support level. After that, next support is $1.13. So we could start moving pretty quickly towards the downside if we lose that $1.91 support level. Only thing holding up us, holding IOTA up besides that is this previous downtrend line over here, which may act as a little bit of support as it moves lower. So we'll just have to wait and see here for IOTA. It looks like it could really go either way, but surprisingly not looking as bad as some of the other cryptocurrencies. With that being said, it did drop below the uptrend line. This is the end of the daily crypto update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. Make sure to check out my premium content and to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.